Hi, I'm Dr. David Remedies from Seattle Natural Health. And to quote a very famous physician from 2,500 years ago, "Give me any fever and I can cure any illness." That was a quote by Hippocrates. And he knew that when people had a fever, almost all illness would go away. So let's talk about fever. The majority of us have phobias of fever. And we really shouldn't, because fever plays a huge role in our overall health. Now, I can talk as a doctor, having seen people for over 20 years, but I can also talk having raised 2 children and seeing their fevers and how we treated with them. And so when a fever happens, it's happening for a reason. What happens when an organism or infectious agent enters our body, it signals to different pathways in our immune system to actually bring on a fever, and that is a normal response. So anytime, I'll speak mostly to a child, anytime a child has a fever from 101 to 104.5, that's pretty normal. And what's happening in the body is it's called the innate immune system. It's a very old immune system in our body, and it's trying to increase the temperature in our body because a virus cannot replicate when it gets up to a certain temperature, and that is why your body is doing it. So every time we try to bring down a fever, the minute it starts going up, we are only prolonging their infection. So what I teach patients, and what we do with our kids, is that actually let the fever get up to around 104, 104.5, as long as they seem like they're doing okay. Now, there's no golden rule for saying this is absolutely how a child should act, but generally if they're alert, if you're holding them, you know your child, if they seem like they're okay, then that probably means that their body's doing the right thing. Now, the most important thing about a fever is that when it gets up to a certain temperature, you have a certain white blood cell in your body called a lymphocyte. You have a T and a B lymphocyte. And what they do is when that fever starts to go up, they release all these chemicals that basically help your body start to heal. And the B lymphocytes actually create what you might be familiar with is an antibody. So unless that temperature really gets high enough, that B lymphocyte isn't going to give a response to an antibody, so it won't remember that infection next time. So just remember, when your fever is going up, your body is trying to remember whatever that organism is. So the next time it comes around, you actually have a great immune system that will recognize it and start attacking it right away. So that's one advantage of a fever. Now, it's interesting to note in some of the studies they've done, they have never found that people who take Tylenol or acetaminophen or really any other agent that helps lower fever really ever changes the outcome of a febrile, what's called a child convulsion. So that's every parent's fear. Your kid gets a fever too high, they have a convulsion, and that's a legitimate fear, and that's why you want to watch how they're doing. And that's typically why I would say 104.5 is probably as high as you want to go. Some people would say 105 or 105.5 is even higher, but 104.5 is a good number. So if you can keep them at that, generally within one night, they're going to already start feeling better. And there's certain things that you can also do naturally. If you want to start to bring that fever down, one of the best things that I have found as a parent and also as a doctor, hearing what other parents have told me and what I've told them, is hold your child. There is nothing better when a child is sick than to actually hold them, and they are picking up your own energy. There's actually a change of electrons of energy from the parent to the child. There's actually light being transmitted also, and that's going to help with the whole healing process. So I read some books from pediatricians from years ago. That's the first thing they would always say is hold your child. The second thing is you can actually put a cold compress on their forehead. That will cool them down. If you want to, you can also Google wet sock treatment. It's a very simple thing to do that will actually help bring down their fever as well. You can also use homeopathics, such as aconite, byronia. You can also go to any most natural health food store and they have homeopathics for fever, and that will really work. Now, you can also go to our website at Seattle Natural Health. There's actually, I have a blog on there that says how to actually raise a fever. So if your fever is hanging around 101 degrees, it's actually beneficial to increase it. And so one of the things that I suggest is called a fever treatment. It's a very old naturopathic cure. And basically what it is, you're getting into a really hot tub, you're drinking ginger tea, and then you're going to bed with lots of covers, wool pajamas on you, and you want to raise your temperature at night while you're asleep. We have this whole protocol on our website, seattlenaturalhealth.com, and in there's a blog about the fever treatment. And I have found this to work on myself numerous times, other patients, our kids, and it works wonders. So you're going to raise your temperature at night while you're asleep, and then when you wake up in the morning, your fever would have gone up much higher, and that does not allow the virus to replicate and will actually help with the infection. Again, this is Dr. David Remedies at Seattle Natural Health. Have a great day.